dumped by Netflix. I revealed that 2 years ago. At the same time, I also revealed that there would be some type of face-saving first look deal. The deal is over. I've worked in the entertainment industry for 3 decades now. A first look deal of the kind now negotiated between Netflix and Harry and Meghan means exactly that. The deal actually constrains Harry and Meghan because what it means is that all of the content that they conceptualize and that they potentially want to develop or produce has to go by Netflix first.
To a certain extent, we are interested in this. We do not believe that this will result in any type of financial gain. Then it is put up for sale on the open market, where a contract that offers a first glimpse is only worth a minuscule portion.
We don't believe this is going to make any money. Then it goes onto the free market. A first look deal is worth a tiny fraction.
Following the departure of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle from their roles as members of the royal family, the entire world watched in astonishment as Hollywood appeared to extend the red carpet to them. In an instant, they were the most powerful couple in the world, liberated from the restrictions and conventions of the palace and prepared to dominate the entertainment sector with their charisma, influence, and royal reputation.
That was paid to them first time round. But as Meghan's mole posted on this, WhatsApp was on fire.
Therefore, keep in mind all of the stories that celebrated the renewed Netflix deal that Harry and Meghan have signed. Seems like a victory, doesn't it? To put it another way, not precisely, have you ever purchased a more expensive ticket just to find out that it was for the seats in the nosebleed section? To a large extent, that is what is taking place here. In that case,
Cameron Walker of GB News, Christopher Shipp, the propagandists were out in force, heralding Meghan had...
According to those with knowledge of the industry, the Sussexes did not win the multi-million-dollar jackpot for many projects. It was assumed by everyone that they had secured a first-look deal. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? However, in reality, it's more like Netflix stating, sure, we'll take a look at what you have at your disposal. Possibly we will enjoy it. I don't know.
Most interesting is that actually, if you look at the liberal American press, the woke American media that for so long were in Harry and Meghan's pockets, they're completely agreeing with.
The new deal grants Netflix the ability to use its right to veto in contrast to their initial deal, which was worth more than $100 million and guaranteed funding as well as liberty of expression. There is no money that is guaranteed. There are no commitments. And yes, the pressure is genuine. Before any proposal can even be considered for implementation, it must first be approved by a gatekeeper. Imagine you're trying to submit a wonderful concept and it is rejected in front of everyone, which would be embarrassing.
This deal. Under the headline, Netflix loosens its ties to Harry and Meghan. Within the article, they reveal Netflix is keeping its ties to Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, but those ties are getting...
And if we are being completely honest, some of their earlier initiatives did not exactly set the world on fire. As a result of the fact that shows such as Heart to Invictus and Live to Lead were more likely to be seen than required, Netflix was wary. It may appear that success is being celebrated in the headlines, but the reality is far different than that Hollywood is not the palace and that charisma alone is not enough to pay the bills is something that the Sussexes are learning the hard way.
Then, this brilliant reporter was able to actually call out the fact that the first deal was a flop. Because remember, Archewell had intended to make inspirational family programming and documentaries, docuseries, feature films, scripted shows, and children's television under its early...
Therefore, will they be able to recover with a content hit? Or is this the beginning of a gradual decline from streaming royalty to merely royalty? Time is the only thing that can tell. But if there is one thing that is certain, it is that the royal spotlight is not sufficient to guarantee success rates in Hollywood.
Harry to a first look deal just like the Obamas. And then the article reveals the overall to first look extension mirrors the move Netflix made recently with Barack and Michelle, as well as others.
Believe that the only well-known people having trouble with first look transactions are Harry and Meghan. Rethink your assumptions. The same rules apply to the production company of Barack and Michelle Obama. The first say in every proposal goes to Netflix. The content can shop around elsewhere if they pass. It may seem reasonable, but it's a serious wake-up call for the Sussexes.
In both cases, the exclusivity carried by their respective splashy original deals has been removed.
Imagine having millions of followers, international renown, and royal status, but yet needing approval from a streaming behemoth before your wonderful concept can become a reality. Ouch. They are also not particularly flattering when compared to the Obamas. Higher Ground offers a carefully chosen staff, years of credibility, and a track record of success. Under the stern scrutiny of both royal and Hollywood observers, Archewell is still working things out.
And a penny on any more of their boring, vapid, and vanity-driven shows. And she's completely right. That is what has happened with this deal.
These days, any concept is risky. Will it silently perish in the inbox, or will Netflix approve? The couple must deal with executive distrust, creative obstacles, and the ever-watching public eye. For two people accustomed to being treated with respect and receiving attention, the learning curve is high. So the question is, will they find that even fame isn't always enough to earn a green light, or can royal charm compete with Hollywood pragmatism?
Specific about the kind of contract the Harcourts are doing with Netflix now. This is not a renewal. A first look deal is just giving Netflix the right to be the first one to take a look at whatever Archewell Productions comes up with next. Then Netflix decides if they hop on the project or pass.
Let's discuss output, or the absence of it. Documentaries, narrative programs, feature films, and even kid-friendly programming were all part of Archewell's ambitious roster. On paper, it seems impressive, doesn't it? Not so much with the execution, though. In the entertainment industry, shows like Heart to Invictus, Live to Lead, and Polo hardly made an impression. Audiences hardly paid attention to some initiatives, while critics deemed them unimaginative.
Netflix decides if they hop on the project or pass, that's it. And when you think about that, that is a huge...
There are repercussions for this lackluster performance. Netflix is not illiterate because executives are now reluctant to make large financial commitments. The first look transaction was created. In essence, it's a courteous gesture from the streaming behemoth, indicating cautious hope at best.
Because they were paying them so much money, we're actually invested in them coming up with good content, yet it still didn't work. Now they just don't give a damn either way. Nancy Sidley had an interesting point comparing what's happened with the Obamas too.
This is a significant change for Harry and Meghan. They transition from assured mega deals to hesitant approvals. All of a sudden, every initiative has significant risks, and any failure might have a knock-on effect on their...
renew their contract and put them on my first look deal, damn. Because of course what they've been up to is Michelle bearing her soul and the relationship difficulties in a trashy podcast.
And let's face it, it's not enjoyable to fail in front of the world, especially when the tabloids are waiting to jump in. Royalties and titles are irrelevant to Hollywood. Clicks, views, and ratings are important to it. Now,
because the altruistic content was just rubbish. From George the Giant Slayer, Meghan and Harry put out a press release to save face from being fired by praising their Netflix deal. The Hollywood Reporter just threw a...
The hard way has taught Sussexes that while a royal name may open doors, it won't fill seats or streams. Is Archewell's reputation going to be more of a royal burden than a media powerhouse? Or can they improve their reputation for producing mediocre content?
Commenting on this analysis from Sly News, ludicrous analysis, which said Netflix deal a demotion, but the company still see them as a power couple.
In case Netflix's problems weren't enough, Spotify discreetly severed its connection with the Sussexes. Recall the podcast that promised to inspire millions of people, as well as Meghan's voice-driven material. Those are off the table now, though. There was little hoopla when the relationship dissolved and no new agreements have been made.
Time will truly tell. But I do think it's telling that Netflix only announced one With Love Meghan holiday special, not a third season. If they were confident in the second season, they would announce season 3 as Netflix did with one piece. And that's...
There's more to this exit than just a shift in platform. It demonstrates the decline of their media empire as both Spotify and Netflix have reduced their backing. The pair is now under increasing pressure to create material that is profitable. And let's face it, Inspiration isn't always sufficient when millions are at stake. The Sussexes are discovering that Hollywood is not a system of royal favors, but rather a results-driven industry. Nothing could be worse than
only working with them because they're waiting for the divorce. And when that comes through, they will make absolutely a huge...
a well-curated picture of success has been presented to the public, but the reality behind the scenes is a combination of media scrutiny, cautious CEOs, and uninterested audiences. Every error is exaggerated, every project being turned down, direction turns into headline material, life.
People believe it like they did, and they did Meghan and Harry some time ago.
Harry and Meghan continue to project an air of victory. Unstoppable success is depicted in press releases, Instagram postings, and a few chosen interviews. The worst part is that industry insiders reveal a different narrative behind the well-executed PR. The agreements are much less profitable, much more circumspect, and much more reliant on Netflix and Spotify always saying yes.
But I think that's what they're waiting for, because that brought in masses of money. And let's face it, the company's interested in taking massive...
How long can you maintain the appearance of Hollywood royalty when the numbers don't support it? That's an intriguing topic. Despite the couple's impeccable image management, executives, critics, and royal observers closely monitor every stage of production. Things may get nasty when perception and reality collide.
And I think that's what they're waiting for. They don't want anyone else to catch it. And they've also got this thing that they have to show them first what they're going to...
Consider it. While your private life is filled with rejections, negotiations, and shrinking promises, your public persona exudes success. This contrast is appealing to tabloids, social media, gossip, and yes, YouTube makers.
Rather just... sort of make sure that they talk to them first.
Not to mention the irony of the situation, millions of supporters supporting an empire that may be more symbolic than material. It's similar to witnessing someone attempt to make a regal wedding cake without the necessary supplies. It may be attractive on Instagram, but will it last in real life? One slip up might make everyone wonder if the Hollywood dream is more imagination than reality. The Sussexes are balancing perception and reality. Make a commitment.
And sign it up so that when the good time comes, when they split, this is not my view, this is their view, I believe, then they've got a massive number of people going to be...
Reports indicate that their current first look arrangements may pay less than half of what they earned under the original contract. So a decrease in deals is more than just a PR issue. It's a financial earthquake. For a couple used to high-profile, high-paying Hollywood endeavors, that is a huge setback.
Yeah, because as you point out, Angela, if there is a divorce or there is some sort of tell-all, the rules of this game is that if they want any type of TV project...
The impacts extend beyond financial accounts. They may also have an impact on family planning, lifestyle changes, and charitable aspirations. It must be difficult to retain a global reputation while adjusting financial expectations, isn't it?
If they want any type of TV project attached, they would have to offer it to Netflix.
For a couple accustomed to steady finance, every initiative now has the burden of maintaining both personal and professional goals. These modifications serve as a sobering reminder that celebrity alone cannot cover expenses. Possess
opportunity to pay a fair price and then turn it down. So you're right, it's almost like Netflix saying, let's just see if something good comes along. Let's see if something interesting comes along.
It also raises the question of how this will affect their choices. Will they be less reckless, search for fresh sources of income, or pursue safe initiatives? Hollywood doesn't wait for anyone, and financial hardship might make people more suspicious.
And actually, Angela, this is going to hit them very hard, which then, of course, will play into the trouble.
A small failure could become a major story, demonstrating the constant pressure to perform. After one downgrade after another, the empire they had imagined is no longer as safe as it first appeared to be. The difficult aspect is this
in anymore. I mean, to lose Spotify was bad, but to lose Spotify and Netflix within a 5-year period without
Control is more important than money in the first look contract. Now, before any Archwell idea can even be offered anywhere, Netflix must approve it. This implies that Harry and Meghan aren't totally free to make things the way they want. It's not merely possible to be rejected. Most likely, if a project fails to meet the
those deals, well, it's disastrous.
Yeah, I was told that it's going to be worth under half. I don't know exactly how much.
Imagine scurrying after months of crafting a concept just to have it rejected, to locate a new stage for two personalities accustomed to independence and focus. The adjustment is difficult. In contrast to royal life, Hollywood does not always respect titles or notoriety. Timing, audience participation, and innovative thinking are all necessary for success.
Half, but the money they're going to get is less than half of what they've had before. And of course,
and let's face it, there is some amusement in seeing the former royal couple who are now producers deal with the scrutiny of executives. They're discovering that appeal by itself doesn't ensure revenue, ratings, or approvals. Every idea is a gamble, every pitch is risky, and every rejection is heightened by international scrutiny.
Scrub away, they're not going to get the money anyway.
Sussex's difficulties are now unavoidable, and comparisons to other celebrity endeavors are inevitable. Take the Obamas or even Pamela Anderson, for example. While their projects center on philanthropy or cultural impact, Harry and Meghan's content is constantly criticized for being more about appearance than content.
I can't imagine either of them doing that. I can imagine them coming up with an idea and then sort of saying what they want, but I can't imagine with
the Sussexes are live evidence that even titles and pedigree are subject to inspection, since Hollywood and the general public enjoy a good story of rise and fall. The attention is only heightened when people try to socialize with well-known celebrities, join in on popular discussions, or imitate the Kardashians.
With them really working hard, because actually what they said they do, was it one day?
Every endeavor becomes the subject of conjecture. Every failure is analyzed and every error is tweeted. The public isn't merely observing. They are constantly tweeting, comparing, and passing judgment on it.
Really, really work hard. And someone like you work day and night because you want to do well and you know, get the money in as well as actually tell us all what's...
Not to be overlooked is the gossip factor, which combines royal turmoil with celebrity competition. Both fans and critics are curious to observe how the pair manages to stay relevant outside of the palace. Are they just catching up in a world that moves quickly and forgets slower titles, or will they become well-known content producers? It's disastrous, actually.
Yeah, I was told that it's going to be worth under half. I don't know exactly how much under half, but the money they're going to get is less than half.
The stakes are extremely high, and the pressure is tremendous. To put it briefly, Harry and Meghan are negotiating a minefield of popularity, where every mistake is magnified by notoriety, scrutiny, and the constant gossip machine.
If they don't actually work hard, you know, wash their hands and really scrub away, they're not going to get the money anyway.
In addition to financial pressure, stress, high stakes, and ongoing public scrutiny can undermine even the most resilient marriages. A professional loss can quickly turn into a marriage headline for a pair whose every action is recorded. When you combine the difficulty of staying relevant in a field that is fixated on trends, the future appears bright.
God, I can't imagine either of them doing that. I can imagine them coming up with an idea and then sort of saying what they want.
What does the future bring then? Will the combination of industry pressure, creative constraints, and public scrutiny turn Harry and Meghan's Hollywood dream into a lesson that they are currently learning? While the royal spotlight may continue to shine, it is not enough to cover the expenses. You,